Hello everyone, and welcome to the first episode of Penal-Tea Time. I'm Sarah, I support Man City, and we have three very special guests here today who are going to introduce themselves now.
First, I'm Arron, Arron Burden, 32 years a Leeds fan, always representing. So it's nice to be here. Hopefully we can have a good discussion about some football today.
Hi, I'm Reece Gain. I am 27 years old and I have been an Arsenal fan, long suffering Arsenal fan for 18 years.
Hi, I'm Damien Hills. I'm 25. I'm a Brighton fan since birth.
I'm just like the baby of the group. I'm 23. I feel like the baby of the group. So yeah, seeing as it's just been announced this afternoon, we should kick off with the what we think of the England squad announcement. So if you haven't seen it, anyone watching, the squad announcement is Johnston, Pickford and Pope as the keepers. Then you've got Trent Alexander-Arnold, Connor Cody, Reece James, Harry Maguire, Tyrone Mings, Luke Shaw, John Stones, Kieran Trippier, Kyle Walker, Jude Bellingham, Jordan Henderson, Jesse Lingard, Mason Mount, Calvin Phillips, Declan Rice. The most important person next, I think, Patrick Bamford, Dominic Calvert-Lewin, Jack Grealish, Harry Kane, Bukayo Saka, Jadon Sancho, and Raheem Sterling. Oh, that's a long list.
Certainly is.
So we've got Lingard back in.
Yeah, there's been quite a few recalls, to be honest with you. Nick Pope coming back in after injury towards the back end of last season. You've got to think, is Pickford going to be the number one starter again? Or is he going to give Nick Pope a decent game?
You've got to think, like, especially because the Euros boys, especially John Stones, he hasn't played a game yet. He got an injury in training last week. He's only just come back to training like 2 days ago.
It's the same with Harry Kane, you know. Yeah, he's England's number 9. He's always going to be the first name on that team sheet, but he's not really done anything. And with this stupid transfer saga going on between him and Manchester City, and now he's just come back and said that he's 100% staying with Tottenham. For me, I wouldn't have even picked him. I'd have rather chose Danny Ings, say. He's been in form recently, so I'd have just left him at home and let him sit out, let him sit these international friendlies out. I'm
not surprised at Bamford. I think he had an amazing season last season. Hat-trick against Aston Villa always comes to mind. Nick Pope, I'm surprised, has been thrown in quite quickly, but then he is a quality goalkeeper. I think he was in the England squad for the World Cup in Russia or the Nations League. If I remember, he was in one of those squads, but I'm not too sure. But Lingard is no surprise because, like, since January, he's just been on like a different level for West Ham. As good as West Ham were last season, he propelled them onto a different level.
His form towards the back end of last season were second to none.
I'm surprised Joe Willock hasn't been called up.
Yeah, he was playing, 7 goals in 7 games for Newcastle towards the back end of last season. I don't think he's actually played a game this season so far for Newcastle because he's only just signed, hasn't he? So
yeah,
but yeah, I think he's definitely in contention for the next round of internationals.
Like, we're going to get Ben White back in the next round as well, because I don't know if, like, I know I was watching the press conference, I know Damien did. It sounds like Gareth Southgate was saying if Ben White didn't get COVID, he was going to be in this squad. So that must be gutting for him, sat at home. Like, great start to my Arsenal career. Now I've got COVID and I'm a little bit
on the line like that with Ben White because he's just gone to Arsenal for 50 million. I think Brighton have absolutely had Arsenal's pants down with that price. I mean,
believe me, we have.
You're telling me, yeah. Trust me.
It wouldn't be worth 50 million if he hadn't done the championship winning season under Marcelo Bielsa at Leeds.
No, he was quality for Leeds United.
It was definitely, it was a mainstay. It was, I don't know, it was just a solid rock at the back, and then 50 million, even then, it wasn't proven in the Premiership. Would you pay 50 million for probably your main central defender for the next 4, 5, 6 seasons? Would you want to pay 50 million for somebody unproven, or would you want to go out and use that 50 million to get 1, 2, 3 players that are proven in that position?
I think we're going back though to the days of when Wenger brought Henry for like 11 million, and everybody was sort of wondering, why have we spent so much money on a player who couldn't score goals, was out of form, was a winger. Then look what happened. Same with Bergkamp as well. Bergkamp arrived for like 6.5 million and went on to become, for me, the best player Arsenal have ever had. Certainly the best player I've ever seen growing up. So transfer fees don't mean anything. But, you know, with inflation, I mean, Omri would be worth much more than Harry Kane and all
it's
that.
Like I think
market.
it's the same. But it seems this summer there's been so many transfers and so much money flying around. We've not seen this kind of money being thrown around ever, in my opinion. I mean, if Jack Grealish is worth 100 million, if Ben White's worth 50 million, what's Calvin Phillips worth? You know what I mean? What's players like Bukayo Saka? What's he?
5 years ago, I've just looked on Google, we paid just under 50 million for John Stones, and he's just come into form in that was 2016, and he's just come into his form in the 2021 season properly to become a solid Barnsley. He went Barnsley, Everton, City. And he's only just come into form for us, so that's 4 seasons after buying him.
And to be honest with you, Sarah, you're such a big fan of Ben White. I mean, if you could call this the Ben White Show with Sarah Kirby every week, you would. Let's be honest.
Probably would, to be honest. I'm not going to.
So you. I mean, even when we lost 2-0 to Brentford, you were saying poor Ben White, and you don't want Ben White to play Sunday. You're absolutely adamant. I don't know.
I'm glad he's not playing. I'm glad the man got COVID and doesn't have to play for Arsenal against City. I hope he's all right, but I'm glad we don't have to watch our team beat him.
We're Arsenal, though. The thing is that we've had such a poor start to the season that the City game away is probably going to be one where, in years gone by, we've gone there so low on confidence that we've actually gone and won. You know, at the end of the day, I go on, Man City are a better team, bigger in terms of history and tradition than obviously Arsenal are bigger. But at the moment, Man City, if they get Cristiano Ronaldo, I think the rest of the league, boys, we're in a bit of trouble.
Yeah,
Me and Damien were saying that earlier. It's going to be fun to watch him, but you'll be crying at how much you'll get beat.
I just think it'd be funny. I read somewhere that the Man United fans would stop including Ronaldo as the best player of all time. That means that only goes to top. Then I'm more than happy with that. But Ronaldo in a City shirt, can you see it, Damien?
Mental.
Possibly. I mean, with the amount of money they've got to persuade him with wages, it's very possible.
Yeah, there's only 1 or 2 clubs in the world that'll be able to.
I said it was either going to be
wages.
PSG or City for him. And with Messi going to PSG, City is the logical option.
Yeah, agreed. But then you look at some of the business that, say, Arsenal and Leeds have done, and you think, God, if only we had 25 million to spare.
My dad is still going on about me because my dad's a Leeds fan. Every time Ben White is on the news or mentioned, or we've got an Arsenal game on, it's, if only Leeds could have bought Ben White. And everything I get.
See, Brighton were asking 40 million for him. And, Arsenal did pay 50 million for him. But for Andrea Radrizzani and Victor Orta to go and stretch 40 million on him after one proven season in the Championship, not even the Premier League, it was a big stretch. And then when you think what we did with that 40 million that we could have spent on him, we got Rafinha, we got Rodrigo. And look how them two have changed our club, Rafinha especially.
Rafinha is quality, but I mean, we needed Ben White for Championship proven things. You know, when we get relegated to the Championship, inevitably.
You will need to have a player who can win the Championship. So you've got
well
one now.
Well done, Sarah. Thank you very much.
It's fine. You'll be back up in the Prem in 2 seasons' time when Ben wins the Championship for you.
Yeah.
You can't say that, though, because you look at teams like Sheffield United. They had that second season syndrome last year where the year before they had a great season. They finished 9th or 10th, I think it was. Then last season, they were dead bottom. This season, they've dropped back into the Championship, probably going down as favourites to come straight back up. And look where they are. I think they're second from bottom.
Well, Sheffield United, funnily enough, I'm Oxford born, right? But I became an Arsenal fan because my nan's followed
You wanted
Arsenal
to be
for
bullied.
70 odd years. Sarah.
You got used to losing from a young age. It's fine.
You wanted to be bullied.
In my first full season as an Arsenal fan. We just lost the league to Man United, and then Wenger come out and said, "Nah, next season we'll go the whole season unbeaten." And there was all those T-shirts flying around that we were never going to do it. And then obviously the next season we went and won the league. So, but like, for me, I've lost all thinking of what I was going to say now because Sarah chimed in with that bad statement, wanting to be bullied.
It seems at the minute like Sheffield United are becoming a little bit of a feeder club for the bigger clubs. Like
that's what I was going to say.
Yeah.
Chris Wilder was the former Oxford manager, so right. we were all really happy to see him do well with Sheffield United. But a little bit of us were thinking, why couldn't he have taken Oxford to? He took us to League One. So after so many years,
personally, I can't stand the guy. I mean, obviously you've got your own reasons for liking him, but I don't know. I can't stand him. I mean, I'm living in Sheffield at the minute for the last 7 years, and my wife's a Sheffield United supporter. She won't have a bad word said against him, I don't think. But I just can't stand him. I've never liked him.
I think it was the way he left though, because like they're not owned by a state, but I think the president's a prince or something, and he came out and said that Wilder wanted so much more money in wages or transfers, and that they just couldn't afford to pay that. And even spend 30 million. What was it? Sanderberg, 20 million on McBurney, 30 million I think went on Oliver Burke. They've
just sold the majority of the decent players. I think Lundstrom's gone, Ramsdale's gone to you. I'm sure there's one or two more. I mean, I know a lot of Sheffield United fans, and none of them are happy, to be honest with you.
Brings us back to the England squad though. Point with Ramsdale. I just think I know he's been relegated the last 2 seasons. That doesn't bode well, but he was still one player of the year. I think he's going to be. He played well last night, but we were playing West Brom's W team.
I mean, exactly. You were playing West Brom. You can't exactly it's like the Villa fans when they played Barrow. Like they were treating as if they were beating like Liverpool 6-0. Like it's Barrow.
Don't worry, we did it with Cardiff.
Yeah.
We enjoyed that moment singing under 23s to the Cardiff fans as well.
To be fair, Villa battered Liverpool last year, and that was Liverpool's first team. They were the European champions at that point.
That's right.
So,
I mean, like going back to West Brom last night. I mean, that Arsenal game, it seems pretty good that quite a lot of the COVID sufferers, like I said, Aubameyang's back now. I think he's the highest scoring player on the Dream Team points at the minute, just from the first 2 games he's played.
I'm so glad someone can pronounce his name. Me and Damien call him Bam Bam. We can't spell his name, we can't pronounce it, so we call him Bam Bam. Like
he played well. I mean, my wife's favourite player is Bukayo Saka. She calls him Tiny Face because it looks like his face has been shrunk down on his head. I don't know why she loves him, but it was good to see him.
I think you need a new television.
I've got a 60-inch TV here. I think I've got the group drawn actually. For the next round, should I say? There were some pretty tasty games actually. I think were it Manchester United, West Ham?
Yes, I'm looking forward to that one.
Arsenal, Wimbledon. Oh, I can't wait to. haven't played Wimbledon since the Premier League days.
You might get another win.
Back in the day of Vinnie Jones.
Yeah, when Wimbledon. Well, to be honest, MK Dons and everything, but I'll always see them as Wimbledon because again, a club I grew up with. I'm not that old, by the way. I know I sound old, but I was only like 3 or 4 when Barnsley were in the Premier League and stuff like that. But what you hear down in Oxford, when we get on the rare occasion we get Swindon fans in Oxford, which is very rare. But Swindon fans politely remind me that they have been in the Premier League and Oxford haven't. So that's one thing we get bantered for.
I did get yelled at last night. I was on about the City game. I was saying, like, I don't know how you guys feel about your clubs, but like, it would be nice to have a challenging game to a cup run and not just like playing Wickham.
I don't know because Leeds...
You get that every year, Sarah. You get conference teams in every draw.
I know, and I hate it. I got shouted at last night by a City mate of mine, and he was like, "Well, it's an easy way to the cup. And I'm like, yeah, but the games aren't fun. I just sit there feeling sorry for them if we get to like 5 or 6-0. I'm like, Jesus
You
Christ.
haven't got to play
Stop.
for it.
I'd absolutely love for Leeds to be winning 5-6-0 in the cup, but for that, I think for the last 2 or 3 seasons we've played Salford, we've played Newport twice, and we've been battered by them. So it was nice.
Crawley last season, when an ex-Towie player come off the bench and was part of their winning team. You couldn't get much lower than that, could you?
Oh, that was fun to watch.
I watched that game thinking, this is just like proper. This isn't proper Leeds United.
I was watching it with my dad.
We have a good cup run. It's time that we have a good cup run. Whether it's going to be in the Carabao or whether it's going to be in the FA Cup, I don't know. FA Cup always seems to be a bit of a like throwaway games for Leeds. It's always under 23.
The FA Cup is like the most special competition. It's my favourite cup competition because it's just one of those days out at Wembley and just like the history behind it. You know, so many teams have won that competition. I think it's great because as a kid growing up, if somebody asked you, you know, do you have a dream? You'd never say scoring the winner in the World Cup final. Every kid always seemed to say scoring the winner in the FA Cup final was, you know, something. But then since the Champions League and everything has kind of
that
come
Champions
to
League
fruition.
for me is definitely up there. Going back to 2000, 2001 when Leeds were playing and we were playing like Lazio and beating Barcelona, who had Ronaldo at the time. You know, them nights were special. So I mean, I'm just a football fan in general, though. As much as I'm a Leeds fan, I'm a football fan in general. So I can happily sit and watch any game that's on the TV.
You was in two European semi-finals in 2 seasons, if I remember rightly.
Yeah, we had Lazio. 2000, it was when the everything went down at Galatasaray.
That was it. Yeah, we had them in the final. Actually, they played us in the final.
That's right. Yeah.
But that Galatasaray team we're just showing our, well, I don't know really about me, I'm 27, but I think we're showing our slightly older age a little bit here, Arron.
Yeah.
But that Galatasaray team was something else.
I think they had Rigobert Song playing at centre back. I think did they have Hadji playing at that time as well? To be honest, he's one of the best players. I never saw him play, or maybe for 1 season when I was, you know, very, very young watching Georgie Hadji play. But, you know, he's one of the most underrated footballers. I think, you know, he was just a wonderful footballer. For a Romanian, definitely. I mean, if you go back to 1998 World Cup, I don't know if you remember when I think the full Romania team all bleached there, every single player.
Yeah, we was in the same group as them. Yeah, they beat us.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
It's a thing with Romania, always beating England at major tournaments. I mean, the first major tournament I still have somewhere in my loft the France '98 shirt. I think it had like the lion on it or something. It was the official logo because it was that's like right. Fat Les, Vindaloo, and all that.
It brings back good memories, doesn't it? It's I love nostalgia when it comes to football. Paul Gascoigne being my favourite player, the dentist chair celebration and everything against Scotland.
I was at Wembley. I saw that game as a 1.5-year-old. I was at Wembley. My dad took me in the crowd to watch England-Scotland at Euro 96.
Wow.
And
I wasn't even born then. I feel like really young now. I
remember being like 7 years old watching that on TV with me. My dad, that was unbelievable. And we were actually in Turkey for a holiday when the '98 World Cup was going on. We were sat in a bar called the EastEnders Bar when David Beckham lashed his leg out and got the red against Argentina. I can remember that day like it was yesterday because I turned around and cried in front of about 70 people. Not the best highlight of my life, but yeah.
I'm pretty sure I ended up crying at this Euros, to be honest. I was in the pub in like the bar in my hotel in Blackpool watching it. Was it the semi? You'll know which game it was, Damien. It was the one that I was on holiday for.
Oh yeah, the semi.
And the Scottish people were in our hotel, and there was just a group of English, and the Scottish were just stood at the back of the bar cheering for. Who was it we were playing? Denmark. Yes, it was the Denmark game. The Scots were cheering for Denmark.
Shirt.
Yeah.
Got to have the Ericsson shirt on the wall for this.
The Scots were cheering for Denmark, and there was just a few of us cheering for England. It was a very tense match, that.
I think Scotland fans celebrated and supported just about every team that were playing England throughout that, though.
Pretty much.
I've never been a big fan of the Scottish fans, to be honest with you. I do like watching Rangers from time to time. Celtic, I'm not so keen on. But I don't know, Scottish football for me, it's, I don't know, it's like a farmers league.
Well, do you remember when the Super League was going to come out?
Yeah.
And the impressionist Darren Farley come on, he'd done an impression of Steven Gerrard, and they asked him, you know, what do you think? And he'd done an impression of Steven Gerrard, and he went, well, we basically have a Super League, and every year he wins it, guaranteed success.
Exactly, yeah, exactly. So, I think was the last team that wasn't Celtic or Rangers to win it was maybe Aberdeen, and that was when Ferguson was managing.
Years and years ago than that.
Many years ago.
Way before I was even born, so
yeah,
that shows you how long ago that was.
27, 28 years ago or something.
I mean, the only reason I'd have joined the Super League was we just need the money. I mean, we're just cash strapped.
I mean, when the Super League got announced, I literally put all my City merch away in a box in my wardrobe. And I was like, I'm not wearing it. My parents had just bought me. I have like all of the shirts from last season, the home, away, the third, and all the stadium jerseys. And they just bought me the last of the collection. And I was like, yeah, I'm not going to wear them anymore. And I put them in a box.
One of the security guards at my old job was a diehard Manchester United fan. He's been going for 50, 60 years. Season ticket holder. So he was part of the fan club, supporters club, and everything. And I was working there when the Super League business came about. He said that he'd rescinded his ticket, sent it back to him, put all his shirts away, revoked his membership from the supporters club. He wanted nothing to do with them whatsoever. And I can't blame him, to be honest with you. I mean, why would you want to do it? Obviously, like you said, with Arsenal being like cash strapped and everything, but teams like Manchester City, Real Madrid, they don't need that money.
We could have bid 300 million for Ben White if we'd have had that money. I see the good in Damien's eye, thinking, you know, that could have completed a whole takeover of his football club.
You could have brought the entire Brighton squad for that, probably.
Yeah, don't remind me. As long as they don't take Basuma out, I think.
Oh no,
we need
Basuma. We need Basuma. Although the one Brighton player I love is Arron Connolly, because on his full debut he scored twice past Tottenham. So you can't get much than that.
Neil Mopey started the season very well, actually.
Neil Mopey. We don't talk about Neil. Don't talk about Neil Mopey. The guy is just. I can't stand Neil Mopey. Guendouzi throttled him, and it ended his Arsenal career. But Mopey got what he deserved.
And now
when we used to play against him in the Championship a few years ago, he always scored against us, and he was just the most horrible person, it seemed.
Arrogance, a bit like Drogba. Yeah. Players like that, even Ronaldo.
The thing is, he's arrogant, but he's not good enough to be that arrogant.
Mr. Mopey, if you're watching this, I've tagged you in the comments down below.
And we'll just offend everyone. Like, we'll put a disclaimer in the bio, like, we're not out to offend. We might offend people.
I mean,
Sarah, you did within the first 3 minutes of me telling me I was being bullied. Go on, Damien, sorry.
I told Sarah that I didn't like Malpay, but as soon as he scored in our first game, I went, actually, I quite like that fella, you know that?
Unbelievable, Jeff.
I think even like in their own team, everyone has a player that they're like, I was saying to Arron, Sterling for me, don't get me wrong, class at an international level. Could you bring some of that back to City maybe and not give the ball away every time you touch it?
When you Pep Guardiola and you've got 7 or 8 world-class wingers in your squad, though, he's bound to feel like his nose is being pushed out a little bit, especially now they've just signed Grealish. That's his position. That was his position. Although Grealish seems to be playing more central at the minute, doesn't he?
I don't think anyone, like with Pep Guardiola, I don't think anyone plays where he tells them to. It's like, go run somewhere and kick the ball.
I think he's got the Mourinho syndrome, where he's playing like left backs at left wing and he's playing strikers in defence.
Hello everyone, it's Editing Sarah here. I've just popped in quickly to say that the editing from now on might get a bit choppy. So we did stay on Twitter, but we filmed this on Thursday, the 25th or the 26th of August, and we were actually filming when the news about Benjamin Mendy broke, and we had a lot of conversations about him during this because we filmed this part before he obviously came out about what had happened. So we're editing all out because we don't want to talk about him. Just putting that out there. We're not discussing anything like that. We don't want to associate with him. As a City fan personally, really don't want to associate with him. But yeah, no, sorry for the bad editing from now on. But enjoy the rest of it and follow our social medias and stuff.
Ben White, he was good at Brighton. He's not been good at Arsenal so
Whoa,
far.
whoa. He's only played one game, two.
He's played 2 games, including pre-season, and then the man's got COVID. We can't really judge that much.
No, he's ill just from playing for Arsenal, Sarah. It's not because he's got COVID. He walked in the door, saw said Kolasinac there and thought, I ain't having this. I'm going to go and have the flu. Just so walked
I
out.
want to come home.
Yeah.
He might as well. I think Brighton definitely got the better end
To
of
be
that
honest,
deal.
just touching on Ben for a second, I would love the opinions of you guys on this. I feel that Ben's season in the Premier League was actually made better of having the experience of Dunk beside him.
Yes. Yeah, that's
definitely.
true.
Yeah.
Definitely. Who was the one that went on Duffy? He came back from Celtic and went and scored, didn't he, at the weekend?
Yeah.
He's been unreal so far.
Yeah, he has been quality. There's no doubt about that.
They are
I mean,
looking
he
like a
won't
good
play
team this
weekly
year.
when Veltman's fit again, but he has been good.
I remember when Brighton used to play at the With team.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
You
don't
know
remind
all
me of
about
those hard
trips there,
plastic
Arron,
things.
wouldn't you?
Definitely.
Yeah.
I think I've been to every League One stadium at one point. Well, I think I've been to just about every stadium. I used to follow Leeds with my with my dad up and down the country, and then when my dad passed away, I started going with other people and on my own. But them League One days when we were playing, some of them stadiums, I'll just leave it at that, I think.
Yeah. What's the worst ground you ever visited?
Feel
worst
free
ground.
to say Barrow. Like it's not that great.
I've only ever been to Barrow's ground once, and that was after Kidfest when we went for a drink. I don't know. The worst ground I've probably ever been to is, I'd say, either Swindon or
Yeah.
Torquay.
I
maybe.
agree with you on that. Yeah.
I've been to Torquay. That's quite a bad stadium. If you're talking in terms of like atmosphere and whatnot, you're probably looking at Millwall and stuff like that, just because of the sheer hatred between the two supporters.
Damien doesn't like Old Trafford, do you, Damien?
I don't like that because they decided it was a good idea to sit disabled away fans with the home fans, and they started throwing coins at us and swearing at us.
That's Manchester United for you.
I mean, I'm here for all the Man United hate. Like that is what their fans are like. I'm not gonna lie.
But on a personal perspective, the ground I actually really dislike is Burnley.
Yeah, I don't like Turf Moor. Yeah.
Because I can't actually access the concourse at all. I have to rely on someone else to go and get me food and drink and stuff.
And you have to sit with the home fans.
You used to. They've changed it now.
I think Elland Road's, well, obviously I'm going to say it's the best atmosphere and the best fans, but
It is.
for the how they accommodate the disabled, the elderly, and the away fans, I think it's always been run well in that aspect.
It actually has.
It's easy to get about on your own or with your carers or whatever. And yeah, they used to just put the away fans in what we call the cheese wedge, the little yellow part in the corner. But now they seem to be, the more fans are taking, they seem to be giving them the south stand. Now, I don't like that, to be honest with you, because the south stand's obviously, as I said, where my dad's ashes are, so I don't like him being near Brighton fans and Arsenal fans, you know.
Nothing wrong with
Whoa. Keep it down, boy.
We're a lovely
No, to be honest, when they are very lucky, you're all right there. Nearly went out of business. But like when it's like, I mean, between me and you, Arron, Leeds and Arsenal have like the biggest rivalry out of like these 4 sets of, We go back.
We all have a common ground. We hate
Rivals.
United.
Yeah.
You see, that's what I'll say something about that. Man City. I remember when Man City were in League One and League Two, when they had no money whatsoever, and they still thought that they still thought that they had a big rivalry with Manchester United.
Yeah, that was a bit embarrassing when they were
Aston
going
Villa
away.
fans now have a big rivalry with us. I had to listen to it on the train because I was coming home from getting my vaccine when
But
all
Sarah,
the Villa fans were coming, and we don't like that.
Sarah, they'll just play the European Cup card
Exactly.
because that's all they've got. I mean, to be honest, we can't sit here and banter Liverpool because Liverpool have arguably like the richest history going. So
Yeah.
we don't really have a history
Honestly,
to
them and
compare.
Chelsea are definitely City's biggest rivals this year for the title.
Leeds are definitely up there in terms of trophies, though. Not
We
over the
said
last-
we
Yeah,
think
we're up there.
Leeds are going to be top 6 this year. Top 6, top 8, definitely.
I've got my bets on for top 6 this year. I mean, we had a bit of a rough start against Manchester United a couple of weeks ago, but that was to be expected. But if you look at the similarities to last season and to this season, last season we got beaten 5-2 by Man United. We lost 1-0 to Everton. This season we got beat 6-1 by Manchester United and we drew with Everton. So at this point in the season, we are a little bit better off than what we were last season. And we did finish, 9th, I think, last season. So, yeah.
I feel like
6.
with Leeds especially, they're the team that, like, when the fans are in, they play so much better. Like,
oh, yeah, definitely.
Your
it's made a
fans
huge
just have
difference.
that atmosphere to them.
It's made a huge difference, the fans being back this season. They're definitely 12th man.
Your first full crowd in the Premier League in what, 18 years?
Well, yeah, and going back to a couple of nights ago, Tuesday night when we played Crewe at home, we had 35,000 that were packed out against Crewe.
It's mental, honestly.
Unbelievable support. I mean, then you look at teams like.
You look at City's capacity. We're selling edible coffee cups, and we can't even sell out a ground.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, I didn't want to say Manchester City again because we seem to be bullying them a bit, but yeah, you look at City's club fans capacity stadium, and they can't even sell out a Carabao Cup game.
But now we're selling edible coffee cups.
Oh yeah, like that helps.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm quite looking forward to one of those when I go to Soccer Aid.
You've got a coffee cup you can eat, but we still can't get a full crowd.
Soccer Aid's probably going to be full of the most of your games.
Soccer Aid is the first football game I've been to at the Etihad because I don't like going alone because I don't like some of our fans and their atmosphere, like the way they were at Tottenham when they ripped like the pride flag down and stuff from the stands. I don't like the behaviour of some fans.
On the new Leeds United shirt, you can actually get the Premier League badge on the sleeves in pride colours.
That's cool.
So
That's
yeah,
nice.
I quite like that.
If you want to
That's
pay
nice,
that extortionate amount of money, that brings us on to the next point.
£70 for this. £70.
You see, I lived in Turkey for quite a while. That's where I met my wife and everything. And she goes once a year, so she always ends up bringing me back Leeds shirts that I want. And I tend to shop on eBay quite a bit. I mean, all these shirts behind me they're genuine, but they're from eBay, so they were
we looked at DH Gate shirts, didn't we, Damien?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
I've ordered some from there before.
Like, I'm all down for paying that because I've bought a child's in our away shirt because a 15 to 16-year-old child's is bigger than a small adult's and it's 15 quid cheaper. So I was like, I'm buying that. But like,
I saw that. That
so
tweaked you up
expensive.
a little bit. That
So
tweaked you up a bit,
expensive.
Sarah. I mean, I thought that was funny. I couldn't see how they can charge so much money. Yeah, they're genuine, but they're not the real thing because I think Arsenal shirts, the genuine ones, are selling for £100. I think the only difference is
The replica shirts. I don't know why the replica shirts, but they're like £110. And I'm like, if I had that sort of money, I would be going to watch games in the stadium, not on TV.
Yeah, I literally think it's just because it stops sweat. I really think that's it. That's the only reason why. But 60 quid for a football shirt is like astronomically.
70, this one.
I wouldn't pay it. I definitely
You
Didn't,
need-
my
you
dad
need-
did. My dad
Well,
won on the
Sarah-
lottery, so paid it for me, and I was like,
Arron,
right.
they need the extra tenner to compensate for the fans that are not in the stadium.
They need
Well, yeah,
something to
definitely.
pay for the coffee cups.
Yeah.
Well, they're making our shirts out of recycled plastic, apparently, as well. And I'm like,
What's that from your leftover fans?
Oh,
the chairs that we can't fill, we've just turned them into like t-shirts.
I mean, you might as well just leave now with your head held high, because I guarantee you in about an hour, this roasting session is going to go pretty hard on you, my son.
I'm ready for it.
And
To be fair, though,
honest,
Brighton are doing well so far this season.
they are.
Where are
They
they
are
on the
doing
table at the
very
minute?
well.
Uh,
Are they fourth, fifth?
Yeah, we're fourth. We're
Yeah.
all going on the European tour.
you're going to Europe. Stop the count. You and West Ham are going to Europe.
We'll take that.
We can't
West
say much
Ham-
about West Ham though. Look at what West Ham did last season, and then how they've started this season. I mean, Michail Antonio, he's some striker, unbelievable player. I mean, what's he got this year? I think 3 goals and 2 assists in 2 games.
Yeah, it's crazy. And I'm finally happy that David Moyes is getting the recognition that he actually deserves
Oh,
for being a decent manager. Because he is a good manager,
After
what
that
he's done
spell
with
at
Everton.
Manchester United, things weren't looking good for him, were they? And then
It wasn't, I don't think that was all his fault. I just think that Fergie knew that he had a terrible squad, an aging squad. I mean, that squad that won the league, bar Van Snakem, you know what I'm talking about, the snake up front.
Mhm.
If he hadn't joined Man United, they wouldn't have won that league. They wouldn't have walked the league as well as they did.
He was a good player though, wasn't he? It wouldn't matter if he went to Chelsea, City. It didn't matter where they were going to go. He were going to score goals, wasn't he?
Yeah. As much as I don't like to admit it, but you know, Arsenal.
So there's always been bad blood. I mean, I remember the games where between Arsenal and Man United, where Roy Keane was scrapping and with Vieira, but there's always been some good transfer business going on between them as well. I mean, Welbeck's come from either team, hasn't he?
That was the last bit of good business. Don't get me started with Sanchez and Mkhitaryan. I mean, I wanted Mkhitaryan when he was first in Dortmund. Don't get me wrong. I wanted Mkhitaryan with Aubameyang. Because when we got Mkhitaryan, I thought, we've got the better side of the deal. And honestly, for like the first 6 months, I thought that, you know. Then we had Unai Emery. And for me, Unai Emery is a much better manager for Arsenal than Mikel Arteta will ever be. Because we finished 5th with a worse squad and got to a European final. Yeah, we got battered in that European final. But when you think now, Arteta's arguably got a better squad to work with.
Yeah, definitely.
And we're just not far. Yeah, I mean, Aubameyang is quality anyway.
Is Mikel Arteta still going to be there at the end of the season, though?
I hope not.
Good point.
I hope we get
I don't
Conte.
think there's only so much that the big bosses can take, and so many bad results.
I mean,
you can't just blame it on the manager.
No,
it always
you can't.
seems when there's a string of bad results, and the big boss turns around and says, "Right, you're out," gets rid of the manager. It's not the manager's fault because he's not. He's the one that picks the team, but he's not the one that's kicking the ball around.
What
We
I don't
said
understand.
this in the Brentford game. Me and Damien were watching it, weren't we? And we were saying that there was just like a lack of communication between a lot of the Arsenal players. Like one of the fellas, I don't know who the hell it was, kicked the ball and it just went there. No Arsenal players near him. And I'm like, who are you trying to kick it to? Casper the Friendly Ghost? Like
That sounds like Mohamed El-Neni.
I don't know
He
who
played
it
well
was.
last night.
Oh, he did. I'll tell you what, though, having Ødegaard in the team last night, because I don't know if you remember when Ødegaard first joined Real Madrid, he was going to be the next. He was going to be the next Messi. He was going to be the next Ronaldo. He was going to be like the next big thing.
Wonder kid, wasn't he?
He was. But he is a talent. He's a quality player. And I know, it was West Brom's B team, but the back flick for Saka's goal was just quality in any game.
He's a great player, is Saka, and I think with him being so young, he's just literally got the world at his feet. I don't see him staying at Arsenal any more than another 2 years. I think Manchester United are going to come in for him or somebody.
Yeah,
What,
he goes
for
for a big
Saka?
club.
Manchester United will come in for him.
Damien. Can we just reverse back a minute there? What did you say?
He go to a big club.
A big club. Hey,
Yeah, it's
right.
no longer the big six, it's the big four.
out of all 4 clubs represented on here, we're the biggest historically. Second is
That's true,
Leeds.
but history isn't now,
Yeah,
is it, my friend?
definitely.
History is what made Ben White sign for Arsenal, because he said in his interview that
Probably Mikel
Arsenal's-
Arteta. Like,
not Arteta, it was not Arteta, none of it is Arteta. They all signed because they said when Arsenal come along, it's the name, it's the brand, it's the tradition. It's like when Leeds knocked at Rafinha's door, or when Leeds were knocking at like Harry Kewell's door, for instance. By the way, I adored Harry Kewell, as he was my favourite Leeds player when I was a kid, Harry Kewell.
It was good.
I've got a lot of
brilliant
bad
winger.
opinions and good opinions on Harry Kewell. I mean, when he played for us, it was unbelievable. But then he signed for Galatasaray, and with everything that had gone on between Leeds and Galatasaray, it just kind of broke that bond. Same with Alan Smith signing for Manchester United and then kissing the badge as well.
God, I know, but some of Alan Smith's goals for Man United were actually really good when he first joined.
Before he broke his leg.
Yeah, it was just a shame that John Reece had decided to stick a ball right in his leg. I remember watching that. It was a horrible break. He was such a promising player. I think then he went to Newcastle. I think he's got the record at Newcastle for longest spell at Newcastle playing without even scoring a goal. I don't think he scored in 5 odd years. Newcastle. Oh, we gave you Jermaine Pennant, if I remember rightly.
Yeah, he came from you, and then I think he went from. Where did he go to Birmingham after us or something?
Yeah.
Back when Birmingham were in Premier League, that was a long time ago. Oh, funny! I was watching some of the games the other day, and I was watching Blackpool, and thinking to myself, back in 2010.
Do you remember when they were in the Premier League?
That's exactly what I'm going to say. When Blackpool were in the Premier League with the
breath of fresh air.
Oh man, that was unbelievable.
Ian Holloway,
he was a good manager. He always has been.
Oh, he was. He always had a good. Well, I remember when one journalist asked him, what's your verdict on the Charlie Adams story? And he come out and said, well, to be fair, my house has just burnt down, so I couldn't really care at the moment. And it was just like those kind of clips. The Man Love with Harry Redknapp clip is hilarious if you haven't seen that. Yeah, when they asked him what it was about him, and he said, "Oh, it's his curly hair." It was just brilliantly funny.
Who would you say your top 3 managers of all time are?
Oh my god. Okay.
You're probably going to say Wenger up there, aren't you?
No.
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 This can be from anywhere in the world as well. It doesn't matter from any time.
So, the 3 greatest managers of all time. Okay. What's this based on? Trophies or entertaining football?
I mean, your personal opinion of them, probably.
Yeah. Why not both? Do both.
I'm going to go on controversial choice, but you have to throw Sir Alex Ferguson in there purely because he's arguably the greatest manager of all time. Do you know what? I'm going to go for Arsene Wenger. Yeah. Because, he is a legend despite what many... I wish we had him still.
Yeah.
Because I just think that when we lost games, they were entertaining. We weren't losing games 5 or 6-0. We were losing games 6-3, 6-4. Or we were
look what I did. The Invincible season was unbelievable. I remember I borrowed a video, an old VHS tape from one of my friends in school of the Invincible season, and I used to watch it on repeat. And I'm not even an Arsenal fan. Unbelievable.
No one will ever do that again. I mean, but the thing, people still say the league was easier back then. I don't think it was.
I think back then the league was harder because look at the players that were playing back in the
even
days.
Leeds, when they were bottom of the league for most of the season.
Yeah, when we were getting beaten at Bolton and Laughter.
Yeah,
unbelievable.
6-1 at Portsmouth, if I remember rightly.
When floodlights went out.
But you still had Viduka, you still had Smith, you still had Milner, Pennant. You still had a great team. Man United had a great team. But the greatest manager for me of all time, and that is a very, very good question. Do you know, I'm probably going to go with, I've had, third was Ferguson, second was Wenger, first choice manager, I'm probably going to this is going to be a really, really bizarre choice for a lot of people. But again, purely for the fact that the football that they played growing up and watching all the tapes and everything. I'm going to go with jointly Bobby Robson and Kevin Keegan at Newcastle. Purely because Kevin Keegan's was just, if you score 6, we're going to score 7.
Yeah.
Should have won the league. I was a bit too young for that, but I remember every single year Newcastle would be in the top 4.
Yeah, they were in Europe.
Yeah,
7 or 8 consecutive years. Yeah,
they beat us every single season because they had Alan Shearer, they had Owen. I think they even signed like players like Viduka and Obafemi Martins towards the end. Yeah, and then when Kevin Keegan returned, there was this one game I can remember where they went up to Tottenham and he hadn't won in his first 12 or 13 games, I think, coming back. And then he went up to Tottenham and just played this brilliant football, swept off the park, beat them 4-1. And everybody was going like, this is the return of that attractive brand of football.
I used to enjoy watching Newcastle back when Shearer were playing, Solano, Rob Lee. But even before then, I liked him because I'm a big Paul Gascoigne fan. So when he was there for 2 years, he had the world at his feet. I think he ended up going to. Did he go to Lazio after that?
But interestingly, Gascoigne come out when they were saying Foden's the next Gascoigne, and Gascoigne come out and was like, "Nah, there's only one Paul Gascoigne." I was kind of thinking, yeah, you are right on that one, mate. To be honest, as good as Foden is, Paul Gascoigne, probably the most talented.
That's
English
the thing, though,
player.
with Phil Foden. Phil Foden's only really started to shine last season, and he didn't really get much time on the pitch at the Euros for England. Is he going to be able to emulate the second half of last season this season? Or I don't think anybody at Manchester City can get too comfortable with the position because you never know what Pep's going to start playing on that day. You never know who he's going to select.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, to be honest, I think for Foden to achieve what he can, Sarah's going to hate me for this, he needs to leave City.
Oh, definitely.
Who would he go to though?
I don't think he's staying
maybe
in
abroad,
England.
maybe over here, just somewhere where he knows he could play more regularly in his preferred position.
Could you imagine a midfield of like Wilshere, a fully fit Jack Wilshere, Paul Gascoigne, Phil Foden,
Cesc Fabregas? Put him in there.
Yeah, another snake. Yeah, Cesc Fabregas. Yeah.
He's playing well at the minute. I know he's getting on, but he's playing well for. Is he playing for Monaco still?
Yeah, I don't mind if you want to talk about ex-players leaving and coming back, like Henry. I'm sorry, Leeds, but that goal against Leeds, I will always remember for the rest of my life because that was it's so emotional for him to come back and go bang one in against one of Arsenal's biggest rivals.
Yeah,
even when you were in League One, the Championship. Whenever Arsenal used to play Leeds, it was still like, it's like the return of one of the biggest rivalries in English football. That's why I'm so excited to get back onto Sarah's agenda. Actually, I was just reading it, and it says, full crowds for the first time in 18 months. How are you all feeling about that? I'm asking the questions now. This is a bit weird, Sarah. What's happened? No, how do you feel about it? Because Leeds and Manchester United.
I mean, can you call our crowds full?
Okay, so
cups, the edible cups, I'll bring them
our
in.
crowd are out here eating cups, like.
Yeah.
So if somebody turns Sarah's video off, and then we can have a full capacity of fans that actually know what it's like to have a full stadium.
You say that your fans are out there eating cups, though. Norwich fans have been doing that all their life, aren't they? Just eating normal cups.
Tottenham can't even do that because they can't even get near one.
I've just seen it on. It's popped up on Sky Sports now. Champions League group stage draw is coming very shortly.
Don't bother me.
You two. Sorry, you three don't know what it's like, do you, to be in the Champions League this season?
Yeah. Hello.
We know what it's like to win a European Cup.
Hello. Yeah. Again, so do we. We have actually won a European trophy. Much people seem to forget. We actually won a European trophy before Liverpool won their first. If you want to go on history, Damien, I mean, the history's there. We were the first London team to reach the Champions League final. We've scored in the Champions League final, and that was great when it was Sol Campbell. Because when Tottenham reached it and lost, all the Arsenal fans, we all piped up and just said, This is what it means to score in a Champions League final for a North London club. And the only picture, obviously, everybody could find was of Tottenham's, arguably one of Tottenham's greatest ever captains, scoring for Arsenal in the Champions League final. I have a feeling Ronaldo to City is going to be when Campbell joined Arsenal from Tottenham.
Yeah.
I don't think because no Arsenal fan was against the Sol Campbell signing. Nobody was. Everybody was all for it.
I used to like Sol Campbell.
As long as it's a good player you're taking from your rivals.
Him and Tony Adams or him and Martin Keown at back.
Yeah, I mean,
partnership.
Again, Damien, this is where I'm going to bring you in on history because, you know, we've had the best, we have the best back five.
I mean, arguably, yes, you have years ago.
In football history. Yeah, but you'll never get a better back five in football history than the Arsenal back five.
No, you won't catch me arguing. But what I meant is, like, now I would not class you as one of the top four, like the elite four of English football.
We know that. We know we're not the elite four, but we're still one of the big three in terms of winning trophies. I'll always sit here and defend my club's history because, you know, if Liverpool have every right to bang on about their history and nobody picks them up for it, why can't we? We're proud of our history. Brighton should be proud of their history. City should be Leeds should be proud of their history. City should be.
Definitely. I mean, we should have had an extra European Cup, but we got done over by I think it was Bayern Munich in.
You have been in the final, haven't you, Leeds?
Yeah, I think we've won one or two, but we had a goal disallowed, which should have stood against Bayern Munich many moons ago, and we were robbed. So. Yeah,
probably explains why my dad doesn't like Bayern then.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I'm more for Borussia Dortmund, to be honest with you. I can't stand Bayern Munich.
Did any of you see? Speaking of full stadiums, did any of you see the West Brom fan ejected for standing?
Yes, that was on my list.
I know. I just checked.
That is mental.
I wanted to rein it back in, Sarah.
Try and get to the agenda. Right, that's mental. A persistent standing. It said on the letter.
Me and Damien will continue our persistent little
Damien,
clash. We'll do that
Damien.
off air, you know.
Oh, you'd like to know what it's like to be persistently standing, wouldn't you?
I would actually. And if you don't mind, can I tell a funny story about that? I actually went to Southampton away a couple of seasons ago, pre-pandemic. And bearing in mind, you booked a ticket for the wheelchair area. It then says persistent standing will not be tolerated. I went to the steward and you had to laugh, mate.
I'm sorry, I shouldn't laugh. Sarah, that was absolutely brutal.
Don't worry, she does that to me every day.
Yeah, but the look on Arron's face was just like, are you sure that was wise to just say that?
Neither do I, but I can't stand up for myself, so.
Yeah, good one. Well done.
We have what we call the cripple advantage, don't we, Damien?
Yeah.
Where he gets in and I get him for free.
Well, if I wanted to watch a crap team week in, week out, then maybe I could be a carer, but I'm quite happy watching Leeds.
Damien, Sarah only gets in for free because they need more fans in the ground. Let's be honest. So there you go.
Soccer Aid might be the first full capacity that the Etihad's had this season.
I think
and none of it's to watch Manchester City. Did anybody keep up to any of the League Two games in the weekend?
I think Hartlepool are doing well considering they've just been promoted.
Forest Green are top of the league at the minute. They've played 4 and won 4. The one at the weekend, I think on Saturday, it was 6-3 against Crawley. Nicky Cadden scored a damn near perfect hat-trick for them. I mean, we were talking like maybe doing stars of the league so far. Nicky Cadden's got to be definitely up there for Forest Green.
I thought he was going to say stars in their eyes.
I'll just pour my smoke and I'll come out.
Who are you going to be a star? Who are you going to be?
Who am I going to be? I don't know. Ronan Keating, probably. Sarah knows.
Yeah.
Ronan Keating. Love that one. Love it.
But yeah, League Two, it seems to be quite a competitive league this season. Bradford City are up there. I mean, I were brought up 6-7 miles away from Bradford.
I hear a great chant by the Leeds fans, so we're going to hand it over to Damien for a second.
It was
Go on,
directed
Damien.
purely at me. You're just a shit Stephen Hawking.
Wow. Wow.
And you wonder why I bully him.
Oh no.
Do I leave now? Because this is like really bad. Like I've heard some stuff, but this is just extraordinary.
It's definitely not
Made
for
it
the
worse the
watershed,
fact
is
I
it?
laughed and applauded them.
Fair play.
I don't know
Yeah.
where we come up with this kind of stuff.
I
Does
love,
somebody sit at home and like, I don't know, just think about songs all week. And
I love the Leeds fans though, like the way they were trying to put off the Everton players at the weekend. Just, oh, I love it.
yeah, I'm definitely glad that full crowds are back. Definitely.
Oh, yeah.
But no, pure Oldham, like talking of League Two, pure Oldham, they're bottom of the league. And the fan group, the main fan group that has shares, I didn't read too much into it because, you know, it is Oldham. They're fearing that they're going to go into administration. So they're trying to demand the owners have a meeting with them. So pure Oldham, they're about to get relegated for the first time in the history, like out of the EFL and down to the National League. And not a good time for them, is it?
No.
Definitely. I mean, they played Colchester at the weekend, and I think they got a penalty. First goal came from a penalty, which shouldn't have been a penalty. It's a shame that they don't have VAR in the lower leagues, to be honest with you, because there was no way it was a penalty. But they are definitely struggling this season.
I don't get why some of the bigger clubs aren't.
Helping out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I really don't. I mean, we don't have the money.
See,
but
I
City
think
have.
it's good what Villa did. So when Villa played Barrow, they got 45% of the gate sales and they've given all the money back to Barrow to invest into the team.
That's good.
I mean, you won't catch City doing that, you know. Our owners won't do that. We don't like giving away money.
They only done that because they beat them 6-0. Let's be honest.
Yeah,
If
it
was
probably was
1-0,
a bit
they
of
wouldn't have done it.
you know, we kind of destroyed your team. Here's some money.
I don't know. Got quite a lot of stuff written down, to be honest with you. I was sat there just all day yesterday going through games with a fine-tooth comb.
There seems to be a lot of fights at the minute in different leagues. I noticed that a lot of news stories. So like Swindon and Salford in the League Two are getting charged with
Cardiff and Portsmouth as well.
That's the other one. That's it. Yeah, in the Championship, they're getting fined $5,000 each. Cardiff and Portsmouth. And it's like, you know that fighting's going to get you fined. Just behave. Especially for League Two teams that have no money.
Nice and Marseille was worse.
Oh, that was unreal.
That
Did you
was
see
ridiculous.
the guy who was in the orange bib that was working for?
It's the physio.
Working for Nice, who came on and he just bashed him.
Yeah, it was one of the team's physios.
What's all that about?
He's now getting banned, apparently.
I'm watching it and
I was keeping you updated with that, Damien.
Yeah, I wasn't watching it because I'd only just come in. And then Sarah was sending me loads of messages going, have you seen this? And then loads of pictures and videos and stuff.
I remember a Leeds fan jumping on pitch and punching Sheffield Wednesday's goalkeeper square in the face. That was bad.
The Canny pushed the ref over once.
I remember.
Robbie Davis did that when he was on loan at Brighton.
Yeah.
At the minute, we just have children running on our pitches to see Jack Grealish.
I don't know why.
I mean, I went to his presentation thing. Not much to shout about, to be honest.
Well, there was hardly no one there, was there?
Why did they have a presentation 3 days after he'd made his debut?
I couldn't understand that either. And this is a biggest sham, and I'm willing to keep this in. I'm not going to edit it out. Biggest sham in the world. Yeah, there was free tickets and giveaways and T-shirts and stuff, only if you were a kid. Like, all the kids got the prizes, and we're like, hello.
8 in the morning.
It was mental. And then we got rained on, and I was like, oh, well, that's great. It wasn't very well organised. Literally, they had a woman in her 50s and a fella that looked about 60 trying to stop people jumping over the barriers, just them two.
I think the way for clubs to introduce the new signings is it should be done like Manchester United did it with Arron in front of a.
I mean, at least they're guaranteed to have a crowd that way.
Yeah, exactly. You don't know how many people will turn up just on a Monday afternoon, do you, in Manchester?
6 o'clock on a Monday.
Stupidity. Sheffield Wednesday, though, in League One, talking about decent teams. Sheffield Wednesday are playing very well. Top of the league at the minute, unbeaten with 10 points.
Should never have been relegated, if you ask me.
Bailey Peacock-Farrell, ex-Leeds player. I mean, it was really good for us. I think Burnley signed him for 6 million or something. Didn't have a handful of games when he were playing there, but he's gone on. I don't know if Sheffield have signed him or he's gone on loan, but he saved a penalty at weekend against Rotherham. And he played outstanding.
He was Burnley's first choice keeper last season, if I remember rightly, or towards the end of last season.
When Heaton got injured.
Yeah, that was it. But now Heaton's gone to United, which I can't understand. I don't get that move.
Is David De Gea even going to be their number one when Henderson comes back?
I'm not too sure, to be honest, but Henderson's career's gone off the rails. But yeah, Henderson's one of those where you don't know how it's going to go, do you, really?
That's it.
Let's be honest. I think Ramsdale's going to be class. I don't think Leonard's good enough now. I think Ramsdale is going to be the Arsenal and hopefully England number one, because we're not really sure. I don't think
Leno were good enough when he came, though, was he? I mean, he was coming off a little bit of hype from one decent Bundesliga season.
I think he features on a lot of the best gaffes of all time in the Bundesliga. Mm-hmm. Speaking of gaffes, did any of you see speaking of kids on the pitch, did any of you see that brave mum tackling her toddler on the pitch to get him off?
No. I didn't see that.
No? You saw it, Damien. It's one of the most funniest things I've ever seen.
It is. If they still make those DVDs, that'd be on there, wouldn't it?
Oh, it would. 100%. 100% it was funny.
So, on to the Premier League. So, top 3 Premier League. Bit of a shock. Well, one of them is. West Ham at the top.
Played 2-1-2. They've been playing very well at the minute.
Yeah, I was a bit surprised with the Leicester result. I didn't think it was a red card, though, for was it Fornals who was brought down? Or
yeah, Fornals brought down by Jose Perez, I think.
Yeah, I didn't think it was a red card.
When you look at it back from the different angles, it was a nasty challenge. Maybe not a red card. But you never know, they could always go back and challenge that red card decision.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, 100% agree with you on that one.
Brighton
are up the top.
I feel like Chelsea and Liverpool kind of expect it. I'm not going to lie, that is like where I expect the table to finish somehow. City, Chelsea, Liverpool, top 3. That's my top 3 for the season.
Did you see Reece James's goal for Chelsea?
Yes.
Unbelievable goal.
Yeah, thanks. I did.
That upsets me, right? Because I did have him in my fantasy squad and then I transferred him out and I was like, oh, great, thanks.
That's my life. That's literally my life. Fantasy football, Sun fantasy football, Sky Sports, FPL. I love it.
But yeah, no, Chelsea doing well, although we kind of expected that, and Liverpool. Now they've got Van Dijk back. They're going to be like mental, Liverpool.
Who do you partner up with Van Dijk at the back, though? I mean, they've been using Matip because Gomez has been out, and I don't know if Konate is injured or if he's just not up to speed yet, but you've got to feel for Matip, who's been playing out of his socks for him, to just then be dropped for Gomez or Konate coming back in.
Yeah. I think Konate is going to be a decent player, but then Naby Keita arrived with a similar amount of hype and hasn't really lived up to that, billing. Same with Granit Xhaka, players like that. There are so many players who, for some reason, Xhaka, for me, it's so strange. When he plays for Switzerland, he is an absolute monster of a footballer. Mm-hmm. And even when he was playing for Mönchengladbach, he was an amazing footballer. But now, he just doesn't know how to run.
It's like Sterling. It's like great on an international level. Domestically, it's like, nah, I can't.
Xhaka scored some goals, though, for Arsenal.
Oh,
when he does score, they always tend to be 30 yards out.
Yeah, they do. I remember when he scored his first Arsenal goal, Wenger fined him because Wenger was a believer of tick-attacker football, the Barcelona way. So anybody who hit a screamer from 5 yards out weren't happening. So maybe that's why he hasn't really scored as many good goals since.
Possibly.
To be perfectly honest with you.
I think Arteta's trying too much to emulate that Barcelona style, though, isn't he? The same, like, he's trying to be, because he worked under Pep for so long, he's trying to use the same style of football, whereas...
He was only Pep's tea boy. Can we get out of this habit of, like, he's going to be the next Guardiola?
Trying to be Pep 2.0, isn't he?
Well, Guardiola's leaving City at the end of next season.
2023. His contract expires in 2023 and he wants to take a break. I love Pep so much.
Jose Mourinho coming in then?
Not even just because he's our manager. Like, what game was it? Norwich. Yeah, after the Norwich game, he literally went on his bike around Manchester City Centre, pulled past this nightclub and took pictures with fans. Like, literally a bicycle, just rode past and stopped for pictures with fans. Oh, I love that.
Marcelo Bielsa's the best one for that.
Marcelo
walks from his little flat in Wetherby, he walks all the way to training and he stops and takes pictures with everyone.
He's the best manager in the world, apparently. Even Guardiola thinks he's the best manager in the world, Bielsa.
Well, Bielsa's been to City a lot lately, apparently. Him and Pep have been having tea.
Yeah, I saw a picture of him. I don't know who he were with, but it were definitely him that were walking around by the front entrance of Manchester City.
Yeah, he's been to have meetings with Pep, apparently, and I don't know what's going on there. Either Bielsa's coming or we're giving you some players.
Well, he keeps signing these one-year deals, so, I mean, I can't see him being at Leeds maybe past the end of next season.
But then
2023, which is when Pep's runs out.
When Bielsa goes, are you just going to be relegated again? Are we just going to go into that circle?
Probably.
Okay. Yeah, probably.
Just an awful circle.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely.
Speaking of managers, though, they confuse me. I've been saying this to Damien, Tuchel especially. A lot of people complain that Chelsea players aren't getting game time, they're not fully match fit. So Reece James got like the head injury, got injured, and he still keeps him on, doesn't bring subs on when they're like 2-0 up at 70th minute. And I'm like, how are you expecting like people like Ben Chilwell to get game time if you're not going to bring them on? Or bring Timo Werner on at the 88th minute? Like,
when you've got Marcus Alonso that started off the season so good, you can't just drop him though, can you, to put Ben Chilwell on? I mean, Chilwell is a great left back, but Alonso's that old head that you need in your squad, isn't he? You need that discipline and you need that experience. Whereas Chilwell is still only young, really.
It's just like the everlasting debate of how are they going to get game time and get good if you're not playing them? That's why City tend to send most of our youngsters out on loan, because half of our academy have gone out on loan this year. Like Ben Knight went to Crewe, and that makes sense because they're getting like that first team games. But like, there's a lot of, especially Chelsea, Tuchel has his favourites. Like he has like his ideal lineup, and it's like if you're not in that, how are you meant to get game time? Like it doesn't make sense to me.
You're just going to be played in cup games, really. And
pretty much.
There's not many of them really, is the cup games. I mean, I reckon Chilwell will start in Champions League.
I hope
if Alonso's playing Premier League football, Chilwell starts Champions League all day long, because they always tend to have the Mendy will start in goal, probably all league games, but he'll always play Kepa in Champions League.
That he was really good during the penalties in the Super. Was it the Super Cup?
He's always been a bit hit and miss, though, hasn't he? Since he come, he's been a little bit hit and miss.
Yeah, we were reading, didn't we? We looked at that interview he did Damien a while back, where he was like going into all of his personal life, and I'm like, oh, he seems like a nice person, but like he has like those days where he's like, you can be great, or you can just have like a really shit day at work.
Like everybody can, yeah. I'll give him
it's like Ben White though, like he's not had the best start in his 2 games.
Back to Ben White.
Well, yeah, but the point is appropriate here. He's not had the best games in his 2 games that he's played. But like it's 2 games. You can't judge someone off 2 games for a team that he's just joined.
No,
he needs time to like.
I just find it quite funny that you've got me, Leeds, you've got Arsenal, you've got Brighton, and Ben White's been at all of them.
Except City.
Except City.
No, he likes clubs with real fans there, and that's why.
He likes
Oh,
clubs that
yes.
can sell out stadiums.
Yes.
He doesn't
I
want
mean,
edible
to be
coffee
honest-
cups.
To be honest with you, we are talking about a club that have won as many league titles as Sunderland. So, need I say more?
But I feel
Yeah.
like
To be
that's
fair,
a
though-
lot of this league. Like, yeah, I'm gonna like say something about United here, which I'm like, ew. Fred scored an own goal, but like again, we're only 3 games into the season. Like,
That's it. Come back to it in January. You know
Like,
what I mean? When
if
half
we're
the
here in
season's done.
January, we might be like completely different opinions at this point, but we can't really judge anyone who's having poor performance, or in fact, people who are having great performances. It's been 2 games. Like,
Your
I mean,
opinion
talking
on
about
Ben White won't change, Sarah,
you never know.
regardless.
talking
Oh my God.
talking about City though, and Jack Grealish getting his first goal at weekend.
That was like pure, like stood in the right place at the right time.
the
Just
right time.
slap him off his thighs.
And he celebrated like he just scored winner in the FA Cup final as well.
Literally.
He's just gone in off your knee and you're celebrating like that.
At the weekend, though, honestly, best goal for me, Danny Ings. The little,
Oh yeah,
Okay.
100%.
yeah.
Great goal, that.
Definitely.
Honestly, contender for goal of the season so far.
Early contender, yeah.
Luke Ayling at Manchester United though, that would a goal.
Yes.
That was a great goal. Shame bad
That was a
result.
thunderbolt, wasn't it?
Exactly. Shame about the
Really
result, but
disappointed with that result for Leeds.
he only seems to score screamers though. He's a bit like Granit Xhaka, to be honest with you. He only seems to
Like,
score screamers in front of full
hit
He's
crowd.
an
or
Arsenal
miss.
boy. He's
He
an
is,
Arsenal
yeah.
boy.
He is.
I think he was on the bench
He was on the-
for a game, if I remember rightly. I think it was in Europe.
I think he was on the bench in the final.
Yes, the Champions League final he was. Yeah, well remembered. To be sat there.
He always brings it up in interviews.
Yeah,
When he's ribbing rest at team, he always says, "I played in the Champions League final." You know.
yeah, he was sat on the bench with like your Reyes, God rest his soul, that player. Love him. Love that player. Like Bergkamp as well. And like just you go from that to even I'd be gloating about that if I was sat on the bench with all those like
I think he
big
ended
name
up at Yeovil
players.
Town after that.
He did, yeah.
Yeah.
When Yeovil, I think, were just beginning to climb the divisions.
Yeah.
Because if I remember rightly, there have been a few teams that have been on the cusp of promotion to the Premier League that you wouldn't really think of, like Plymouth, when they had Scott Sinclair, who was banging in 30 goals a season for them. And they were
Yeah.
at the top of the Championship for a long time.
It goes back to when we were talking about Blackpool, though, when they were in Premier League. Never in a million years would you think that Blackpool would be in Premier League at any time.
Well, the worst team I've ever seen in the Premier League was Derby.
Yeah, the 11-point season.
Yeah, horrendous season
Terrible.
for Derby.
Norwich might do a bit better than that.
The Paul George sex tape was the big story that season.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
But to be honest, I think with Derby, I think they knew the season before they weren't good enough. They even said that ahead of their first game of the season that they weren't good enough.
They're still not good, to be honest with you. They were lucky to stay in Championship last season.
Speaking of Derby, I feel like this is personal standpoint. Frank Lampard, decent player, not the best manager.
After the scenes at Elland Road, I used to like him. After the scenes at Elland Road when they beat us in the playoffs.
Yeah, my dad hates him. My dad hates
respect for
him.
the guy. I've got no respect for the Derby team. So that's why it made it even all the more special when our next game after being promoted as champions was Derby, and they had to give us the round of applause on the way out of the tunnel. That just made everything better.
Oh yeah, I know how you feel with that one. Because the year we won League One, it was when Southampton's manager Nigel Atkins said if they can keep up with us, and they were the ones that had to give us the Guard of Honour.
Guard of Honour, that's it. Couldn't think of what it was called.
Can't
I
remember
mean,
who gave us the
speaking of
Guard
Brighton-
Honour. It's been a long time.
Speaking of Brighton, I love how Ben Foster had to eat his words at the weekend.
Oh yeah. Oh, the thing I sent you.
Ben Foster from Watford on YouTube was like, Brighton are going to get relegated. Brighton aren't all that great. And then Brighton smashed them. And I was like, thank you. I just love to see people like that eat their own words.
Definitely, yeah. It's always good when something like that happens, and then you're made to eat your words at the end of the day. Yeah, definitely.
I mean, honestly, I do see us getting drawn into the relegation battle again. I know we've had a good start, but I do think we will be drawn into the battle again by the end of the season.
I mean,
We'll be there.
Well,
We'll be there
so
with you,
fine.
Damien. Don't worry. We'll be there with you at the end of
He's definitely no Per Mertesacker anyway. Put it that way.
Speaking of like stars of the league as well, though, like it wasn't a league game, but like Calvin Phillips.
Unbelievable game the other night.
Yes,
Absolutely
and
excellent
captaining his hometown club. That must have been such a special moment as well.
What a
only player at the Euros
Yeah.
as well for England to play every single minute of every single game, which that made me quite proud as well.
It's like just warms your heart. I think Calvin's going to do so well this season.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Jack Harrison was showing pretty good strength as well in like that Crew game.
Harrison's been one of our best players. Well, he's been there 3 years on loan, hasn't he? And then he's just signed from City. But he's been one of our standout players for the last few seasons.
One thing I've noticed about this chat is everybody says City, like CITEH. It just seems to be the thing at the moment. City.
It is
Maybe
the
it's my
northern
accent.
thing.
To be fair, I was thinking that. Me and Damien are,
It's like the north-south divide here. Like it is City.
Me and
like,
Damien are like bros in the hood here.
It's like water. Like it's just the
Water.
at the end. It's City.
Water. Not like that, Damien. Yeah. I think if I walk around the street saying it like that, I'd be putting a mental home. And there's plenty of them down south, isn't there?
There's definitely a few. Mo Salah's been playing well for Liverpool recently.
Yeah.
I mean, all of Liverpool's big players are signing new contracts, but for me, they've got like an aging squad now.
I remember when Harpal Singh used to play for Leeds. That's a long time ago.
Good Lord. Do you remember? I remember Ali Dyer. Do you remember Ali Dyer?
Yeah.
Best Premier League player of all time. He actually nearly scored as well, funnily enough, with his first touch. Park Ji-sung?
Yeah.
Or Park Chu-young? One was Arsenal. Park Ji-sung, yeah. He was very underrated as a footballer.
Indeed.
I remember when Kleberson...
Shinji Kagawa, he was a good player.
Kagawa, yeah. I remember when Kleberson signed for Man United and everybody was raving about him because he just won the World Cup with Brazil.
Yeah, we're meant to be next Ronaldinho, wasn't he? And it kind of fell on its ass.
Oh, that Brazil team that beat England in 2002, unreal Brazil team. That Ronaldo, this is going to be a big statement, right? And I know Gabriel Martinelli is the best young Brazilian striker since the original Ronaldo, I think, for pace and finishing. But the fact that you're going like that means I've got a decent, valid argument. I mean, you could have just said nah. But for me, like, Firmino is not pace-driven, is he?
No. Firmino's more of a centre attacking midfielder. He's more of a playmaker than a finisher.
Yeah, he's more of a Bergkamp. Liverpool just lack the Henry.
So, like, Richarlison for Everton, he's definitely up there as a good young talent for Brazil. But you're never going to have anybody on the same level as Ronaldo. No,
Ronaldo is probably arguably one of the best strikers of all time, if not the best.
The best.
Yeah, he had two. If he hadn't have had those two injuries, but then again, showing my age. Back in 2004, Chelsea brought Mattia Cashman.
Oh, he was unbelievable, especially when were he at Bayern Munich as well?
He'd scored 115 and 120 for PSV.
That's right, yeah.
By the time he left Chelsea, he'd scored 5 in 40 or something like that.
Yeah.
Crazy.
There were another guy that played for Bayern Munich who were called, what were they called, Ronnie Summit? I can't think of his name, but he was an unbelievable player. I think he was Dutch as well.
You had a couple of Bayern Munich, not rejects, but you had a couple, didn't you? You never had Zé Roberto, did you? No, you had Rocky Jr.
The other one. I can't think of his name.
It was Rocky Jr., didn't you?
Rocky Jr., that's him, yeah. He was terrible.
You had him at left back.
Probably one of the worst signings that we've ever had.
Oh, like I remember when we played you, You had an Oxford United legend, Michael Dubry, in your defence at that time.
Oh, Dubes, yeah.
Yeah, I tell you what, Henry and Bergkamp and Perez used to love playing against Rocky Junior. Like, it was
Honestly,
one of those where
he's got to be up there with one of the worst signings that Leeds have ever made. I don't know why they did it. No idea.
I remember that last season when you were in the Premier League. I think we beat you 3 times by an aggregate of 15-1 or 15-2 or something like that. But for me, I was going to ask you, what's your biggest regret as a Leeds fan? Mine, as an Arsenal fan, was
It's being an Arsenal fan.
It's being an Arsenal fan. Yeah. No, mine is from the 03-04 campaign, was where I think if Wenger had lost 1 or 2 league games, I think we could have become the first team to won the quadruple that season. And to be honest with you, that's no coincidence, because we lost to Middlesbrough. He fielded weekend teams against Middlesbrough. But to be honest, I'm going to make a point. Steve McLaren at Middlesbrough was very underrated because he actually took them to a European final. So, they played a weekend team against Man United in the FA Cup semi-final, and then there was the Champions League against Chelsea, where the game should have been over at half-time. But the only reason he played weakened teams in all 3 of those competitions was because we were still unbeaten in the league. And once we were out of all the other competitions, it was like, once we'd won the league at White Hart Lane, or Shout Hart Lane, as I call it, we then drew, I think, our last 4 league games of the season, because it was that's why we get mentioned for having 13 draws in a league season. But 13 draws in a season now won't win you the league.
No. No, we're not.
We were just lucky that City had a poor team back then. About Ben Thatcher and a 40-year-old David Seaman in goal.
Biggest regret as a Leeds fan or supporting the club all my life, it's got to have been probably the lowest point when the club was sold over to Ken Bates.
Yeah, he was the guy that put electric fencing up around Stamford Bridge.
I
think Ken Bates the one that said Schmeichel want a good keeper.
Yeah. We've just come from...
Which one? Which Schmeichel are we talking about?
The youngest one, I think.
He used to play when he was playing for Leeds. They weren't too bad, actually. But
I only know that because every time he's on TV, my dad tells me.
We've just come from like Peter Ridsdale. That was a huge shit show. And then the saviour come off, and Ken Bates buys the club and just sends us further and further down, and we end up in League One. And since then, I mean, we've been through a hell of a lot of different owners. Cellino, quite a few. We seem to have found his feet now, though, with Andrea.
I was going to say, your owners are quite nice at the minute, aren't they?
Definitely. It does help. We've got Victor Orta as well, and Angus Kinnear. I mean, Orta wears his heart on his sleeve. He came from Middlesbrough. The signings that he's been making have been they've been pretty good. Apart from Jean-Kevin Augustin that we signed.
Oh, he was tipped to. I was so jealous when he brought him.
And he played like 2 games, didn't score a single goal, and then we sent him back. We said we don't want him, and then we've just been forced to pay for him, which is probably why we can't afford any more transfers. But we had to pay his full transfer fee.
It's like 30 million, wasn't it, or something like that?
I think it was like 24 million or 26 million we had to pay for him. For a player that played twice, and then we sent him back because it wasn't good enough in Bielsa's eyes.
As a non-Leeds fan, I did enjoy the All or Nothing not All or Nothing. Take Us Home, was it the Leeds documentary on Amazon?
Yeah.
I enjoyed every part of it apart from the last episode of the first season.
I don't think I finished the first season. We've got All or Nothing. That's why I get confused.
We've got All or Nothing filming this season. So
I know that's going to be special game. First game.
Yeah,
is that where the money came from to buy all your new players? The TV deal.
To be honest with you, there have been rumours over the last few hours that we're going to be taken over by the Qatari royal family. So, which would just put us straight back at the top of English football, which is, without being big-headed, where we actually deserve to be. It's as a club where we deserve to be, is at the top of English football.
It'd be good to see the likes of like Ousmane Dembele and people like that going to play for Arsenal if they do get the money.
He'd be a good player. I know he's got hamstrings made of cheese, but when he's on form, he'd be a good player.
He would. I'm surprised Sergio Busquets never went to Arsenal, to be honest with you.
We were linked, to be honest with you, we could have had the best squad ever assembled in the history of football. If we'd have had all the players we were linked
in the past. And
Wenger rejected Ibrahimovic. Ibrahimovic famously said that he doesn't do trials, so he left. Yaya Toure played in the 2003-04 pre-season at Barnet before Wenger said that he weren't good enough. And there's pictures of Yaya Toure in an Arsenal shirt. So that was quite something. We nearly signed Ronaldo before Man United. We could have had Mbappe, as well as Chelsea could have had Mbappe. Wasn't Mbappe signed to City's youth team? I swear he was signed to an English youth team, Mbappe, or is that somebody else that went on to become a superstar?
Doesn't sound familiar to me.
Jadon Sancho was signed to him.
Sancho was Man City, There's another youngster that's gone from Man United to Man City. I can't think of his name. No, City to United. Charlie McNeil. I think he's a young up and coming striker. So that's one to watch out for. He's gone from City to United, which is a bit strange. But
who do you think is going to be the standout player this season then for any club just in the league? I think
depends if Ronaldo turns up.
I've always had a thing for Romelu Lukaku, even though he played at Manchester United. He is my favourite striker at the minute.
Oh, good old Romelu Lukaku. Yeah. For me, if you're on about personal club, you've got to say Saka's going to be the standout player if Smith Rowe doesn't turn up. I think Ramsdale is our first English goalkeeper since David Seaman, so he's got like a lot to live up to.
Yeah,
big time. But in terms of the player I'm really looking forward to seeing this season, because it's his last year and I believe in sentimentality, I think Mark Noble deserves a good send-off.
Yes.
Last time, yeah, definitely.
Because he's now the most loyal player to any club in Europe. Now,
since Gary Kelly, I think.
Yeah.
One club man. Good friend of mine, Gary Kelly, by the way.
Nice.
Yeah, he's a good lad. He goes to all Leeds United service crew meetups, and he were there. He were in Leeds a couple of weeks ago. I didn't manage to get there, but he went for a drink in the famous Three Legs in Leeds, the worst pub in Leeds, and he was sat there having a drink.
That's who my favourite manager of all time is. Joint, going back on it, Dom Revie. How can you not love Dom Revie? I know you Leeds fans probably have something against. There's a lot of whistleblowers about your goalkeeper being the worst one. But then again, that goalkeeper of yours just decided to throw the ball in the back of the net every single time he had a shot come near him, didn't he?
Yeah. Now, Don Revie is definitely, for me, the top manager, probably followed by Bielsa, but I'm only going by what Bielsa's done from what I've seen and what I've heard, you know what I mean? He's quite famous for, if he don't get his own way, for walking out. I think he did, 12 days or 10 days at Marseille or something, and just said, right, I've had enough, and left.
That was the same with a France manager after the Euro 2004. He went to Spurs. I can't remember what his name was now. That was it. Jacques Santini went to Spurs for the 04-05 season. He only lasted like 10 days before realising that he was managing Tottenham Hotspur and then decided to leave.
Speaking of Tottenham, Ryan Mason did well as like their interim manager. He managed to cope well.
Honest, this is perfect. I've been waiting for this the whole chat, right? It's not hard to do well. He did do well as Tottenham manager because he didn't win anything, so that's not hard.
He didn't. It's not like.
And that's it. What else did he do? Tim Sherwood's the highest, most successful manager in Tottenham's history. If you want about win percentages, Tim Sherwood, and Tim Sherwood's a gooner.
I mean, to take over from Marino, whatever. This is why I struggle in life.
Was that Minamino or Mourinho?
Honestly, me and football players' names, not good. We've got to join us next week on the Ben White Show. Thank you for watching, guys, and we shall be back next time with more football banter and trying not to make a joke out of it ourselves. And we'll try not to offend anyone next time.
Hopefully. See you all later, guys.
Bye.
Yeah.